So this isn't part of the lesson, but I thought you might be quite interested. It's not crashing, it's a biodegradable version of what you've been making today. So I've got some of this willow. So this is a weeping willow, which I am fortunate enough to have a tree of this not far from where I live. So we just need to get a basic circle to start with, and it's very easy to go quite large on these. I'm just going to chop the end of this hard woody bit out. Wrap those around each other a bit. So the more willow you've got in these, the easier they become to make. I'll lower that a bit so you can see what I'm doing. So you've just got to form the shape in your hands and then keep wrapping it round each other, very much like we was doing with the bullion wire. And then just keep securing it into each other. And then get another bit. So it's better to do like get lots of little pieces like this and do one at a time, rather than getting a big bundle and think you'll save yourself, you know, some time, because you won't really. It just ends up being a bit clumpy and a bit messy. And just doing by little, you get a nicer look. So keep wrapping this round. So it's yeah, very mindful of not going too big with this because it is a buttonhole. But they are very easy to make big and turn into biodegradable funeral wreaths. Obviously on the other end of the scale of a wedding. And then it doesn't have to be perfectly round, these ones, whereas with the wire that we was doing earlier, you do want to get them as perfect as you can, shape-wise. Obviously the crashing not so much. But this, it doesn't matter if it's slightly off, because it's always going to be a bit weird. So when you feel that you've got quite a bit on there, or enough, I'd say that's enough for a base. And so imagine that on a buttonhole, that's probably big enough. So this is, well, there's my little finger. So my little finger fits in the middle of it, it's not very big at all. And then I've got a little bit of this ivy. It's quite small leafed ivy, it's not the best, it's a bit brown and scrabby. But if you take off some lower leaves so you've got a bit of a stem, you can then weave that stem in to some of the cracks and then wrap the ivy around as best you can. Little bits of string can be used if you wish. To tie it on, to secure it. But then you know you run trying to keep hiding the string as well, which is sometimes a bit of a pickle. It's not the end of the world if people see the string, because you'd hopefully choose a natural colour, but you should be able to get it secure enough without doing that. So this ivy is really small. I mean, maybe you'd have a longer strand, so you don't have to keep making sure that it's going to stay in. But the trouble with the longer strands is that they're bigger leaves, and we don't want the bigger leaves. So again, a bit, you know, I don't want loads of ivy on there because it's still nice to be able to see the willow frame. That's enough ivy, that's quite cute. And then you can stick your little flowers on as and where, like you might scatter some little chrysanthemum heads in, or some little craspedas would look pretty, or some bits of grasses, the dried materials might be quite nice. And then you would need to also stitch in a fastening at the back, so probably a T-bar pin would probably be the best. which you'd probably be best to use a bit of string with, because also you want to keep it biodegradable. There you go, that's another little technique.